Hey everybody, it's Ryan Bridge Bugman, and look, if you haven't figured it out already, we are in the heart of the South Central Pennsylvania 17-year cicada emergence, and I'm back at it again today, almost like every day. But today is a little different. Today we're going to talk about eating cicadas. Eating cicadas. All right? Yeah, man. I'm going to take you through the process of looking and collecting, and then we're going to take you through the final process of cooking them just before the best part of the day is when we get to eat cicadas. Well, I get to eat cicadas. Maybe not you guys, but you get the idea. Man, this is a whole new angle on the 17-year cicadas. You could probably do this with just about any of the species of cicada, but I know for a fact that 17-year cicadas taste better than some of the annual cicadas. I think it has a lot to do with how much feeding they do on particular trees. There might even be a different flavor depending on what kind of tree they feed on, but 17-year cicadas don't do a lot of feeding. They basically come up out of the ground and then they look for mates. So there's not a lot of time for them to really fatten themselves up on plant juices that might change their flavor a little bit. So we're going to look into that. We're going to talk about a few simple recipes, and we're going to even look at some treats for your kids. So stay with me, because today we're talking about eating cicadas. First phase of the emergence is important. If you can get those nymphs just as they're coming out of the ground, before they really get a chance to harden up, even before they're climbing up the tree, that's the best case scenario. You want these nymphs as fresh and as soft as possible. Adults can also be eaten, and we're going to talk about that next. But let's focus on the first phase, collecting the nymphs, and we'll talk about where and when the best time to find them is going to be. When the 17-year cicadas are emerging, finding them should be easy, because if you're paying any attention at all to media or local outlets or social media, everybody will be talking about the 17-year cicadas. Finding them on the ground is obviously going to be difficult. There's a ton of cicada shells, body parts, and dead and dying cicadas strewn all about the ground. So we're going to have to be detailed. We're going to have to look a little closer. I prefer to search just along the base of the tree trunk, where I can find the cicadas just leaving the ground and starting up the tree. Another part about searching for cicadas to eat, you're going to have to find a place to put them. I prefer to use just a freezer bag, because I'm going to eventually take these things home and put them in the freezer. So let's go look for cicadas. Still coming down. We're going from tree to tree, just looking for anything we can use for good fresh cicada nymphs. There's a bunch here. Let me see what this guy is. This guy might work. Check that out. Nice and clean. So he's in the bag. He's going to look good too. There's another one up here. Let me see this one. Okay, this one. Notice the abdomen. A little dark. That one's a little sketchy. It feels like it's soft, but it also feels like it might be dying. I can't really tell. So that one we're going to leave sit. Now, before you decide to hate me and send me all kinds of hate mail to tell me how much you hate me, understand something. 17-year cicadas are hatching out in massive numbers. We're talking trillions of cicadas. They're overwhelming predators, and most of all, there's plenty to go around. Best of all, nature provides enough insects for everything within nature itself. So all the fish, all the birds, all the plants, all the animals are all getting plenty to eat because of cicadas, including humans. Having a couple humans eating a few cicadas is not going to be that big a deal. So relax and sit back and learn something a little new. Maybe you might enjoy these things if you give them half a chance. Still on hunt. I'm going to point out a couple things here. There are plenty of cicadas that are splitting in order to emerge. I've never eaten cicadas at this stage of the game, but I am going to take a few of these, and I am going to give these a try. Keep in mind, I'm going to take these things home and freeze them, then blanch them before I cook them. Here's another one right here. Let's see if this one's a good one. Clean. Yeah, that's a good one. I want nice, clean cicadas that we can eat. Good example of one I don't want. Notice that black tinge, darkened abdomen. Now, in some cases, this may look as though they're getting ready to emerge. That is not the case here, though. These cicadas are dry. They're almost hard. That is a dead cicada nymph right there. So we definitely don't want these. This is not what we want for our food. That's a good one, too. I like when they move. Now it's worth noting that cicadas that are punching their wings out are a real easy, real soft food source for a lot of birds and animals. I'm not looking to take any of those because I'm not sure how they're gonna grill or how they're gonna taste. If I had to take those, I'd probably remove the wings. But I notice this one underneath here is probably a good one. And it is. So that one's gonna go home. Here's another one right here. So there's two. This guy right here is about as fresh as it gets. I just saw him crawling across the ground here. So I'm gonna pull him and we'll check him. He looks good. Now earlier somebody asked me if I prefer males to females. You can tell a male or female nymph generally geared by size. Larger nymphs are going to be female, so don't forget that if you're looking for one or the other. I do not have a preference. I like females because they're larger, they have the bigger egg load, so they're going to be a little more to eat, usually a little meatier after you blanch them. So I don't know if I have an honest preference between one or the other. To me, they both taste the same. Continue searching the base of the tree, looking for anything that looks presentable. Here's a good example right here. Just left the ground, and it's a nice, clean cicada nymph. By clean, the first thing I do is I check for soft. It's very soft and kind of mushy. The other thing about it, check this out. The abdomen is nice and clean. You don't see any black molds, you don't see any juices, you don't see anything that doesn't look right. This is a good cicada. This is a fresh cicada. It's a little longer time frame than the last one I showed you, but this one will be great eating. So this one goes in the bag. Hey guys, this is not a butterfly net. No man, look, we are way out of the box and we are gonna be cooking and eating cicadas. But before I do that, I've got to run a couple recipes through. I got to prepare these things, and that takes a few steps. So we're going to take advantage of the 17-year cicada hatch that's happening right here in central PA, and I'm going to show you folks how to prepare cicadas in order to eat them. Stay with me, man. This is going to be a ton of cool bug fun. For the last 2.5 weeks, I've been going out relentlessly running videotape and getting all kinds of cool footage about these cicadas as they're coming out. The brood 10 cicadas are a huge deal. Every 17 years this happens. So take advantage of this. And in the process, we're gonna be eating some of these, kind of cool stuff. So look, we're gonna blanch these things first. Let me show you what they look like. These are cicadas that were collected in the field. They're just in bags. I've kept them frozen. One of these bags has been frozen for about a day and a half. This other bag has been frozen for probably about 7 or 8 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna blanch these, which means we're just gonna boil them for about 4 or 5 minutes. We're gonna keep it real simple. I don't wanna do it too much because it turns them mushy, and I have to do it a little bit because it softens things up. I'm also gonna be real picky about going through these things. I wanna make sure that I get the softest and the freshest nymphs that I can find. A lot of these things, you know, I picked them as they were coming almost out of the ground. They were literally crawling to the tree when I found a lot of these. Some of these other ones, I found them as they were going, you know, up the first couple inches of the tree. So I know they were real fresh. They hadn't had time to really start hardening up at all. They should be good. I also picked up a couple adults. I'm gonna grill those as well at some point. So I'm gonna show you, grilled cicadas are amazing. They taste like popcorn. So that's another cookout. We'll do that maybe on another part. We're not gonna get that done today. So let's work on blanching cicadas. Okay, so like I said before, we're gonna get a little picky about these. We'll make sure everything thaws out good. They weren't frozen that long, but they were frozen. So I just wanna make sure things are ready. And they feel like it. They feel like they're probably softened up a little bit. That's good. I'm gonna throw down some towels. And then we're going to crack one of these bags open. We're going to pour some cicadas out and see what we get. We don't need a lot, but we do need cicadas. Okay, so let's talk about one other important thing before we get really into the nuts and bolts here. All right, let's call this the disclaimer. First and foremost, if you have a shellfish allergy, do not eat cicadas. That's just the best advice I got for you. There's a real good chance if you're allergic to shellfish, you're going to have a very similar reaction if you eat insects, especially cicadas. So understand that now. I want to make sure the disclaimer's out there so everybody understands. Don't eat insects if you have a shellfish allergy. So what I've done so far is I've already pulled all of the subadult and adult cicadas, put them back in the bag. So that cleared this off a bunch. What I'm left with are a bunch of small, medium, large nymphs. There's probably 2 different species going on here with the brood 10, at least with these nymphs. At the same time, there are some here that I definitely am going to take a close look at and probably not use, only because I can tell some of these are pretty advanced. Notice the wings on this nymph. So this is probably a little further along than I'm looking for these skewers. I like the size of this one. It's a nice big meaty, big female. I like the size of that for the skewers, but probably not going to use that one because I'm looking for something a little smaller, a little less developed in regards to the actual cicada itself. That's not too bad right there. That's not a bad one. So that's one we'll probably take with us. It's going to have the wings regardless. As soon as you pull them and freeze them, those wings kind of turn yellow. So they're all going to look a little yellow. Here's another good one. It's a small one, but I guarantee you that's going to be a good fresh one for the skewers. So we can make this happen. I just need to take my time, go through here, and get rid of anything that I definitely don't want to use on these skewers. So here's how it looks. I've got, bags are emptied, although I got one bag with nothing but adults. So those we save for later, because those are going to get grilled. They're going to be awesome. I have 2 separate piles here. I have a pile that are obviously soft, pliable. These are young, fresh nymphs. These are a little slightly older nymphs, so these we're going to save. Probably use these in some alternate recipes that I'm going to try. I've got some bean and rice enchiladas. I'm going to put those in. I'm also going to grill some of those straight up. I'll chocolate cover some of those. So those are going to get used to an extent, but not a whole lot. We're going to focus mostly on this group right here. This shoot we're doing tomorrow is for the radio station. And I don't expect there's going to be a whole lot of people standing in line to try these things until maybe Dennis Mitchell tries 1 or 2 and decides they're not so bad after all. And when people realize he actually survived, I'm pretty sure they're going to probably step up and maybe try a cicada or 2. We'll see how that goes. Either way, we still got to blanch them. We're going to blanch all of them. I'm going to do them in 2 separate groups so that I can keep these separate for tomorrow's shoot. And then we're going to start working recipes. Stay with me, guys. So I'm working a couple recipes here. And the first one is we're going to be doing some cicada veggie skewers. I'm also going to do some chocolate covered cicadas. But in order to make all this stuff happen, I've also got to blanch the cicadas first. First thing we need to do, we need to boil some water. Once we get this boiling, we're going to put the cicada nymphs in. We're going to blanch them for 4 or 5 minutes. No more than that. I don't want to overcook these things. I don't want to make them mushy. All we're trying to do is we're trying to harden them up a little bit, make them a little more meaty. All right, so I got them starting to blanch. I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit, keep that water moving, and I'm going to gently agitate these things so that they evenly blanch out. So far, so good. Weirdly enough, that smells pretty good. I think most people would start to wonder what really is going on here. That smell, yeah, that smell coming off those things, that's not a bad smell at all. It smells very organic. Okay, now, another reason we're blanching, and this is probably very important to point this out. There may be soil contaminants on these things. There, I'm sure, are bacteria and fungi and all kinds of things going on in the earth. So we're also going to, by blanching them, not only do we sort of strengthen them up and make them a little more meaty, but we're also going to turn around and we're going to sort of sterilize them a little bit better and make them a little safer, I think, if you're just going to eat them. Granted, I've eaten a lot of insects raw all over the world, but when I'm able, when I actually have a choice, I very much prefer insects cooked, either over a flame or somehow roasted or boiled. I've eaten bugs and insects all over the world, a lot of different ways. So we're gonna let these things go about another minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. They look like they're doing good. I don't see anybody breaking apart at this point, and that's also good. I don't want to boil these things and create a soup out of them. All right, one last half a minute or so on these, and then we're gonna pull them. Turn the heat down on them so I'm not over boiling them to the point where they're going to break apart. Rinse. And that is a good start. Now while we're blanching the cicadas over here, we're going to prep our veggies for our skewers. I've got some squash. I got some tomatoes, and I got some apples. Weirdly enough, I love cooking with apple slices and apple wedges. I like to add that in with veggies. I think it adds another little twist to the flavor, and it certainly doesn't hurt it. It actually sweetens it up in most cases. We're gonna do that too. I cook apples into a lot of my venison dishes when I'm cooking deer meat. All right, so let's cut these up. So we got our freshly blanched cicadas, pre-cut veggies, a little bit of apple. I'll probably cut some of these wedges down a little bit, make them a little more presentable. And then from there, now we got to do build our skewers. Okay, just to catch you up, skewers are done. And now I've got leftover squash, and I've got some leftover tomato slices, and I'm going to keep this stuff, and what I'm going to eventually do is I'm going to saute the squash with some of these tomatoes as well as some more cicada nymphs. So we're going to do sauteed squash and cicada, throw in a little bit of tomato just for kicks of it, and that is also going to become awesome. So what's happening now? I've got my second batch of water boiling here. That's going to bring in the second batch of cicadas to blanch. While that's happening, I'm going to start setting up our chocolate cupboard. I'm going to use a small saucepan. I'm going to melt down some dark chocolate, because you know what? If you're going to do chocolate, you might as well do dark chocolate, right? We're going to melt down some dark chocolate chips. So we're going to be melting down the chocolate. We're then going to pour the chocolate into the baking cups that are going to have a cicada. While these things are still warm and the chocolate is still sticky, then I can also sprinkle on some walnut chips. Now, not everybody can do, nuts or even walnuts, so some are going to have walnuts and some won't. Either way, they're going to end up being chocolate covered cicadas with walnuts. Awesome. I got my water boiling. We're going to put the next batch of cicadas in. Again, I want to back that water down, take it to a nice gentle boil, and take the rest of these cicadas and we're going to put them in. Hey man, be sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you like what's going on here and you enjoy it. Then help me out. All right. Thanks. I appreciate your support. Take care, guys. Okay, so the next phase, I'm going to melt some dark chocolate in this cool little saucepan. I'm going to keep agitating this. Try and melt it as smooth as we can get it. Just about done. I want to be careful because I don't want to burn this. We're going to put chocolate over top these cicadas. Awesome. And now we're going to come in and we're going to put walnut chips over the top of some of these. Now, again, not everybody likes, walnuts or nuts in general. There are some nut allergies out there you got to keep in mind, so I'm not going to do that to all of these. But that is what we're looking at, man. Nice. Cicada veggie skewers. Now look, if you want to fine tune these things a little bit, you can do a couple things. You can splash a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on them. You can then salt them. You can season them. You can put whatever you like on them. If you like Old Bay, this is a great recipe to use with Old Bay. Sprinkle a little Old Bay on them. Fantastic. If you're the kind of person that likes to put a little bit of heat on things, you can use like a Louisiana rub, some sort of Cajun. Any of that type of stuff. Again, I am not a spicy food kind of person, so I'm not going to go spicy. I don't want to change the flavor of things too much. I'm not real big on it. I like to eat food pretty well straight up without getting too crazy about it. You could even go as far as bacon seasoning. I have never had cicadas with bacon seasoning, but I have had bacon wrapped cicadas, and they are also amazing. Again, folks, whatever your preference is, whatever kind of foods you like to eat, you can do that. Me, I think I'm just going to stick with some Himalayan sea salt and a little bit of onion powder. I think those two things are going to go amazing on here. Of course, I'm still going to drizzle a little bit of the olive oil over that just to make sure that stuff sticks to the skewers. Grilled, these things are going to be amazing. So I got the chocolate covered cicadas ready to go. I'm going to bring the skewers over here, and I'm going to lay them down in here as well. And so how awesome is that? Ha! We are cooking cicadas, baby. Stay with me. That'll be fun. Hey, look, I'm going to apologize for all the noise. I'm standing out here next to a major highway, but I'm also parked in front of a radio station. I'm out here at 101.3 Fun FM. We're going to be grilling and cooking and eating cicadas today, man. How cool are those? All right, so you get it. Stay with me, man. This is going to be awesome. The first take is done with the radio station down in the studio now. I'm going to be back out here. I'm in the back of my pickup truck. And guess what, man? We are grilling cicadas, dude. Check it. Good stuff. Things are getting good. I don't want to overdo these things, but to give you an idea of what we got going on, we have the raw nymphs down here, and I've got skewers up here. Now, even though these are raw, they can be eaten along with those veggies and stuff, just like skewers. You know how that is. So these, on the other hand, I've already cooked them in a little bit of virgin olive oil. We can pretty well sprinkle whatever we want on those, and they're going to be good. I'm going to go ahead and move these off of here, though, because I don't want to overdo these, because if you overdo them, they just get really hard, and I don't want to do that. I want them to be nice and meaty, so we'll turn those down. Okay, now, if you also remember, I have chocolate-covered cicadas as well. So we got those covered as well. That's going to be awesome. So remembering what we were talking about when I was cooking these things and getting these things ready last night, look, whatever you put on cicadas, that's pretty much what they're going to taste like. You dip these things in chocolate, they're going to taste like chocolate. In this case, I know Dennis Mitchell, I know he likes Old Bay. He told me that. So I brought some Old Bay with me. We're going to hook him up, let him put some Old Bay on some of those. I think he'll really dig those. You can do, if you like it with a little bit of burn to it, you can use some Cajun or some, in this case is a Louisiana spice. I prefer mine pretty well straight up. I don't like to change the flavor too much. But what I do is I put a little bit of the Himalayan sea salt, and then I run some onion powder over them, and that will make them awesome as well. So again, guys, we are cooking cicadas today. Stay with me. We're about to go down in the studio, and we're going to let Dennis try some cicadas. How cool is this?
8:22, suddenly my palms are getting sweaty. I'm getting a little bit nervous about this.
Because there are bug shish kebabs in the room?
That's one way to put it, yes.
We're going to survive, guys. No worries. Look, here's the deal. Keep these on a tray. Things got a little melty out there. There's some of the chocolate covered ones got a little gooey. But
so tell me what we got here.
All right, what we got are cicada skewers, a little bit of squash, a little bit of tomato, a little bit of cicada. That one's even got a little bit of apple on it. And then I've also got some raw cicadas. What I did is I poured a little bit of water in here, not only to harden these up, which didn't really work that well.
When you say raw, do you mean not grilled?
No, they're grilled.
Oh, okay.
They just don't have any doctrine on them. So all this stuff is still totally raw, and it's going to taste like a cicada. If you want to put stuff on, I encourage you to do that if you're really seriously worried. But what I wanted to do...
You know what I didn't grab was paper plates. Tom, do we have any paper plates in the kitchen or anything like that?
Yeah, I came prepared with everything except silverware and plates. That gives you an idea what I do at Bugman Headquarters.
That's all right. I can use my fingers.
There you go.
What is the liquid coming off of there?
Just water.
Oh, okay.
Just water.
Oh, I'm not gonna have
No. Don't eat. I'm just letting you hold one.
Oh,
I just want you to see what these are like.
Okay.
Gives you an idea.
Oops.
If you have a shellfish allergy, you shouldn't eat these, right?
That is absolute. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I got a little bit going on this morning. Yeah, guys. Hey, if you have a shellfish allergy, you do not want to do this. Merrick, it's not a cicada thing. It's a bug thing.
I have a shellfish allergy.
Of course you do.
She's lying.
I was going to say, I think she's lying.
Lying.
But if there are lobsters or crab legs, I can have them.
Oh, sure. I see how you are.
Okay.
All right, should I try this by itself before I try the other one?
I will encourage people to try a bug any day of the week. So
okay.
Go ahead and throw that in, toss it up, and chew fast and swallow, or just chew fast and like it. You know,
You say it tastes like popcorn.
It feels like popcorn.
I'm gonna eat
It's
one with
like
you.
All right,
Here we go.
Here we go.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
I've been eating them all.
Oh, I hear the crunch. Was that a leg? I just heard.
Do you taste the peanuts?
I do. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Fire roasted.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
What's the texture like?
Peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels you know
the outer shell on a peanut when
Yeah,
you don't take the
that's
outer
what
shell
this
off?
is.
Yeah.
Not the
Yes.
shell, but the interior shell?
Right.
Just like that.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, those aren't bad. They're not bad at all.
Not bad.
And people don't get it. I brought
I
you
don't
one of
get
those.
it.
Oh, thank you. I can wash it
Oh,
down.
look at that.
A little bit of water here. What does
There goes a drink.
What does this pair well with? Red wine, white wine?
Water.
I do bugs with bugs. That's usually what happens.
Okay. All
I mean,
right.
that's the thing. Look, I've eaten a lot of bugs in a lot of different places around the world, but it's cool to be in my backyard and be able to do it. You know what I mean? Those are opportunities that just don't come up except about every 17 years. So it's pretty cool.
So what's next?
Well,
The
we
kebab?
can do these. Now, I know you like Old Bay, correct?
I do. I'm a Marylander at heart.
But I know better than to put Old Bay on it for you. So I'm going to let you figure out how much Old Bay you want on your own.
Okay.
These should be cooled off. Yep, these are cooled down now. They were really hot. But
Sounds good.
I'm going to give you
I
that.
got the tray here.
I'm going to give you that.
Uh-huh.
Feel free to soak as much Old Bay on there as you want. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Whatever you put on these things, that's what they're going to taste like. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
So
I might do one with the tomato here together.
See? Just
go like this.
I'm right with you, man.
There you go.
What you do, I'll do. How's that?
All right.
Except I'm not doing Old Bay.
That's fantastic. And now these are high in protein too, right?
They're 100% protein.
Wow.
See, that's the catch to insects. Insects are probably some of the healthiest things we could ever find to eat in regards to the fact they're just natural straight up. Look at humans, man. We'll take a potato and we'll find 92 ways to ruin a perfectly good potato and make it unhealthy. But then when it comes to eating a bug, which is 100% protein and actually very healthy for us, people get all gacked out. There he goes, man. He's going in for the, squash. I'm right there with you, buddy.
You like it. You appear to like it.
It's better than you think. It's really not that bad.
It's not all that I
I like
expected.
salt.
See, I was all worried about the guts and things like that inside the bug. That's all gone.
The whole trick to cicada. Wow, that is good with the squash too. Yeah, man. I've never eaten with squash. I can do that. I'm
That
gonna do
pairs very well.
I'm gonna do a stir fry tonight. I think. Eat it. I'm good.
Now, what's the dessert? It looks like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but I'm guessing it's a cicada.
Well, it might as well be. Do you have a nut allergy or any kind of
No.
thing?
Michelle does.
Yeah.
I'm sure she does.
Just like her shellfish allergy.
Exactly.
She's allergic to everything.
That was good.
Everything in your tray.
That was really good. Tonight, I've never done a cicada stir fry. Tonight, I'm doing a squash and tomato because I got leftover veggies at home. Do you want it with or without walnuts?
You know what? I'm a big on not walnuts.
See, some people are.
Yeah.
I got both. These might be. They hardened up.
Now,
a
did you
little
make these yourself? The
I did.
chocolate covered ones?
Everything is made by. Look, I haven't brought more chocolate in
Put
case
my
more people.
put your cicada in my chocolate.
You put your chocolate on my cicada.
You guys are awesome.
All right, here we go. So this is dessert, the dessert round.
Yeah, I'm
Chocolate.
still working on these. Oh, these skewers.
What happened? Is it
Amazing.
crawling away?
No. Yeah, maybe.
These skewers are amazing, though.
I don't even taste it in there.
There you go.
Is that a good thing?
Did you with the Old Bay? Did you really taste the cicada, or did you taste mostly Old Bay and
Mostly
whatever
Old
veggies?
Bay.
Do you really want to eat a food that you can't taste and you have to cover up the taste of it?
There's quite a few foods like that.
I am absolutely convinced. Look, this is coming from a guy who's done this before. I'm absolutely convinced that a veggie stir fry with cicada nymphs is like the way to go right now.
So yeah,
These
that's
are
what I was going to ask you
amazing.
about. What stage of life is this? This is called this is the nymph?
This is the nymph. 17 years under the ground.
Yeah.
And these things here, I have another one. You don't have
So
to
this is without the wings.
if you notice, the wings are there.
Okay.
What happens is they come out of the ground after feeding on tree roots for 17 years.
Okay.
They're then going to crawl up the tree, hang for a few minutes, start to harden, start to grow a little bit. That's when they split that exoskeleton that you see on the outside, the peanut shell, if you will, on the outside. And then they crawl out of that. They pump blood into their wings, and then they expand the wings. And what we're getting them is, I actually showed up at, I know about 3 or 4 places where these things are 3 and 4 inches deep. And I went ahead and I showed up at like 7 in the morning. And I would just as they're coming out of the ground, I want to get them as soft and as fresh as possible.
Oh my gosh.
And then I raced back home, and I would either blanch them immediately if I was going to eat them immediately, or I put them in the freezer for like a day.
He's got a freezer full of bugs to eat.
Well, you're getting the freshest, Dennis.
So yeah.
This is farm to table right here.
Yes, it
Well, it was definitely grown in the ground. Let's put it that way. There's no doubt about
love
that. But yeah, these are pretty amazing. You have yet to do this, so you should, for real. I'm 100%. You're not going to be sickened by this.
It's okay.
You're okay.
Thank you.
I can't even get her to eat venison.
Well, he's over here nice and quiet too. He's acting like he's acting like we don't see him either. But I
Just the man behind the camera. Don't pay no attention to me. I will say I will try one though.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
there you go.
Do you want anything on it, or do you just want to go?
I'll just straight up.
It tastes like peanuts, or if I grilled them harder, the adults
Oh, I heard the crunch.
taste like.
We just gotta go right at it. It does. I do hear what you're saying about popcorn though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you
that's
like
what
it?
popcorn
Are you
tastes
going in for more?
I don't know if I'm going in for more.
Do you have a preferred spice?
No. The more I chew on this, the more I realize this might have been a bad idea.
See, you should have gone with some veggies.
Wash it down with a vegetable.
Yeah, with some old with the squash.
How about some Gatorade?
Thank you.
Ryan, it's always a pleasure when you come
Oh,
here.
thank you
Yeah,
so
man.
much
Thank you.
for preparing all of this and taking the time to come in.
Oh, no worries,
Do you
man.
have a website we can send people to
Absolutely.
for educational programming?
Yeah, man. www.ryanthebugman.com.
And do you do
Just give us
catering
some-
gigs?
That's a new venture for you.
Nah, I might have to hire somebody to do that for me. So there you go. There's an employment opportunity right there. I got too much other stuff going on. I sit and do this full time.
Thanks, Ryan. They
all good.
were
Thank you,
delicious.
Ryan.
I really did enjoy it. 8:31 right now. This is Fun One at 123.
So what do you think, man? That was a total success. Look, Dennis went in on it. He had no idea what that was going to taste like. And guess what? He actually liked the taste of cicadas. Tom Richards came down, liked the taste of cicadas. Everybody there, except Michelle, ate cicadas and enjoyed them. Guys, eating cicadas is not the big deal people want it to be. Eating bugs and insects, not the big deal people think it should be. What it is, it's 100% protein, and it's nothing but tons of cool bug fun. Tonight, I'm doing cicada stir fry. Stay with me, it's gonna be awesome.